This is the moment of truth for crypto. We have a very important signal flashing on the USDT dominance now, and if this is going to break higher, Bitcoin is going to dump massively lower. If we are going to get rejected here, Bitcoin could see another wave to the top side like we have seen every single time after the USDT dominance got rejected from off this trend line. So that is exactly what we need to discuss within today's update video. But we will discuss a lot more than only that, like all of the most important Bitcoin charts and price data. I will give a big update on my Bitcoin trading position, of course also on my Ethereum trading position, and into the Ethereum charts we'll take a deep dive also. So guys, make sure to first of all subscribe to the channel and watch and like my latest YouTube videos, and then we can dive into the most important content. Since the USDT dominance is now at this pivotal level touching this major resistance line, and back in 2024 and during the tariff crash here we saw a rejection for the USDT dominance back to the downside, and that usually means, or that indeed means, that the USDT is getting used to swap back into crypto, into Bitcoin for example, and that supports a new major market move up. And we have been getting rejected from off this level 2 times, and this is now the third time almost in 1.5 years we are testing this level. And if we can see another rejection, it is going to be very bullish for Bitcoin and crypto. If the USDT dominance is going to move higher from here, it is going to be a very bad and very bearish signal in my personal opinion, because then we are probably also going to lose this exact trend line which we have been discussing in yesterday's update video, and that is exactly this trend line we are seeing here, which corresponds and aligns with the USDT dominance itself. So we are now at a pivotal level for Bitcoin, also close to the yearly open for example, in a major volume zone. So I think this is going to be the moment of truth for crypto. Dropping much lower is most definitely going to validate a new bear market for Bitcoin and crypto. So let's see about exactly that, but we have some very important levels before us and ahead of us here, and some big days upcoming, because now it's Saturday and tomorrow of course we're also going to see another weekly close, and ultimately you don't want to see Bitcoin closing below the moving average 50 trend line on the weekly perspective. I think 2 weekly closes are needed to truly say that a bear market is going to get started for Bitcoin, but let's see about exactly that. Also, your first close below it is definitely not going to be a bullish signal. Let me be clear about that. But yeah, like stated, close to the yearly open in a major volume zone. If Bitcoin is going to bounce, in my opinion, it should happen from off this major support zone. Otherwise, it is going to get very ugly probably. Also for Bitcoin, we have a dead cross which can basically be flashing any moment now, and during this bull market the dead cross did indeed align with major market bottoms. But on the other hand, in every single post halving year, when you see a dead cross at the end of the 4-year cycle, it is normally the start of a major bear market, and also the bear market is usually already started during the dead cross. And looking at the Bitcoin price action, it is indeed looking something more like that scenario, but we could also see a market bottom once again. I do personally think that if Bitcoin is going to see a market bottom and bounce higher, so USDT dominance comes back down, Bitcoin bounces back up, and indeed the dead cross is going to mark the bottom once again, then the 4-year cycle is going to get broken, because then we are doing something totally different than what we have seen during all of the other post-halving years, which is of course also the ending year of the 4-year cycle itself. So very interesting days and weeks ahead of us, I think. The Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index also dropped all the way back to 10, so the market is now in extreme fear. I do think during those periods there are also a lot of opportunities in the market, but of course it is the ending stage of the 4-year cycle. But I'm still in my Bitcoin trading position, but I will update about this a little bit later. First of all, I do want to discuss the falling wedge for Bitcoin, because we have been talking about the falling wedge, and now indeed the falling wedge is breaking to the downside, and we are seeing a totally different pattern than what we have seen during all of the other falling wedges during the bull market. So this is indeed not looking good. Let's see how the weekly close is going to confirm, if it's going to confirm under the falling wedge and we are not going to see a wick back into the falling wedge. It is not going to look that good in my personal opinion. A falling wedge does have a 70% chance to break to the top side and a 30% chance to break to the downside. So if you are going to confirm the weekly close, indeed probably it's going to be in confirmation this falling wedge is going to be breaking to the downside, and we have to wait for Bitcoin to create another pattern to see what the next market move is going to be. The RSI on Bitcoin is now at the most oversold levels since 2023, so basically since the start of this bull market, you could say, after the bear market start of the bull market, we are now back to those RSI strength levels for Bitcoin. So that's quite insane. Bitcoin is indeed heavily oversold, but you must understand during a bear market we can get much and much more oversold. So if this is indeed going to be the start of the bear market, and all of the factors deciding this I just discussed of course here in earlier charts, but if the bear market is going to get started, we can get much more oversold than exactly this. So I don't know if this is going to be a very good signal to watch now, but it is looking quite insane that we are now at the most oversold levels since the start of the bull market. It is really a bit different, this correction to the downside, it seems like. Now I do want to give a big update on my Bitcoin trading positions, because I'm still in my Bitcoin positions. 3 orders got filled and I still have 1 limit order open at the 93k level, which corresponds with about the yearly open, a little bit of a wick below it and then back into the support zone. I think that is going to be my last level of interest for Bitcoin for these trading positions. If we are going to drop lower, I will probably close my trading position in a loss, because I personally think that from there we could drop ever so slightly lower. Maybe there we can watch into some new positions, potentially also shorts if the bear market is going to get confirmed. Let's see about exactly that. But yeah, we have some important levels ahead of us now, and this trade could probably be getting closed quite soon. Let's see. Also, if you're going to see a small bounce back to the upside above my first order, I think I will be taking some quick profits on this Bitcoin trading position, because it is indeed quite a risky position here at the ending stage of the 4-year cycle. But I do want to be longing during extreme fear and not during extreme greed, of course. So I do still think there's also potential left for my Bitcoin trading position, and that is why I will keep it open for now. I'm also updating on my Bitcoin trading position in the private VIP Telegram group. It's not loading correctly now, but here I'm updating in real time about the trades I'm making, about everything I'm seeing in the markets, and much more. So make sure to also come over to the VIP Telegram channel, because here I can be updating much faster than I can be doing so on YouTube or on X, for example. So make sure to come over to the private VIP if you want more updates. You can find the link to the VIP channel below in the description on this update video to the VIP Telegram group. So make sure to come and check it out if you're getting interested in that. And now from off my Bitcoin trading position, let's switch over to my Ethereum trading position, because also here some interesting things have been happening basically. Because yesterday I got filled on my first Ethereum limit order at the 3.1k level. Now we have the 3k limit order left and the 2.8k limit order left. Let's see if those are about to get filled, but I will just keep my limit orders open for now. As long as I will keep my Bitcoin orders open, I'm also going to keep my Ethereum orders open, because I think if Bitcoin is going to see a new move, of course Ethereum is going to follow, and from there we can make new decisions on our trading position. I'm trading on LBank here, and if you do want to do the same, for example Ethereum, make sure to come over to the link in the description on this update video. Make sure to come over to the link in the description on this update video, because there you can now claim a 50% deposit bonus and a generous refund on LBank. So a deposit bonus up to 2.5k and a generous refund up to 5k. So make sure to come and check it out if you're getting interested in that. You can find the link in the description on this update video, and there you can also claim a $100 bonus. So looking at the Ethereum chart itself, we are now at some important support, and that is, in my personal opinion, in no way financial advice of course, but this is where you do want to open a long order potentially, because you do want to long on support and not at resistance, for example. So that's why I think the current offer of LBank is definitely a very nice one. Make sure to check it out if you're getting interested in that. But looking at the Ethereum chart, we are hanging on some very important support, because now we are touching basically the support zone of this historical price data here. If we are going to drop below this, I think the next zone is probably going to be the range high of this major consolidation phase, and then we are indeed going to move towards the 2.8k limit order. But for now Ethereum is hanging on this support, and if we can be moving back ever so slightly, reclaim the range low, then it could go quite fast for Ethereum as well. But in my personal opinion, Bitcoin is the more important one, because if we are going to see those confirmed closes, the bear market is most likely going to get started, and then Ethereum will also not be looking that good in a few weeks from here. What I personally think is that Ethereum is looking a little bit stronger now. Once again, we are retesting the moving average 50 trend line now. This is a level you do want to see holding for Ethereum, I personally think, and Ethereum is still trading above this level, while Bitcoin is now trading far below this level. So that is an interesting difference I'm currently seeing. I'm also open for the idea that Ethereum is going to perform better in the ending stage in the cycle from Bitcoin, but yeah, looking at the market total and the total market conditions, I don't think Ethereum will just just find the strength on its own to make a big move to the top side personally. But let's see about this. This is indeed a very important level to hold above the moving average 50 trend line there. And then I do want to switch over to Bitcoin for the last time of this update video, and that is now that I'm seeing quite a bearish signal here, and that is that the CME futures already made the first close under the moving average 50, because the CME futures of course close at Friday, and this close already happened, the weekly close here. And yes, if is Bitcoin going to follow? What I do see is that the CME futures chart also never did this. We always wicked back above this level. So is this going to be our first signal of a potential bear market? This is indeed not what I do want to see for Bitcoin next Sunday and of course Monday morning. So we have two very important days ahead of us, and of course I will keep you guys up to date in the next few days with the daily update videos. So if you value this, make sure to come over to the channel, subscribe to the channel, come over and watch and like my latest YouTube videos, and then I will see you guys within my next update video tomorrow.